Dear friends of the Arctic, it is a great pleasure and honor for me to be here today and representing President Juncker's advisory team, the EPSC, and talking to you about the Arctic. And being born and raised in Arctic myself, this is a special privilege. I'll try to answer some of the questions put forward by the Senator Vilen also in my presentation. But let me also be absolutely clear from the very beginning. The European Union is in the Arctic, European Union has been in the Arctic, and European Union will remain in the Arctic. If you look a bit back in the history, which we've been doing in these few days in here, I think we can trace the European Union presence in the Arctic to the 1973, when Denmark and Greenland joined the European Union or European Community at that time. Well, following the referendum in Greenland, I think we had to wait until 1995 when Sweden and Finland joined the European Union, and I think we have a second wave or boost of the Arctic activities in there. A lot has happened in 25 years when Finland and Sweden also has been member of the European Union. But I think we still have some challenges to trying to convince the majority of the member states and institutions that where the Arctic is. And I give you one demonstration. This is a euro coin. 25 years ago, the Finland and Sweden were not even a coin. Today, we can find the Finland and Sweden and Denmark in the coin, but what is missing is Arctic. So I have one small request for the Madame Lagarde, who's taking over the European Central Bank. When you start doing a new coins and notes, can we have the Arctic there too? The European Union engagement in the Arctic has been developing especially through joint communications, which has been done by 2008, 2012, and 2016, as was stated here also before. Step by step, this has been taken a gradual approach and also expansion of the activities and interests of the European Union. If I try very briefly say, what would I summarize as the achievement objectives, what we have set for there? The first thing, of course, starting already in 2008, was the promotion and preserving the Arctic in unison with its population. Second thing was the promotion of sustainable use of resources and contribute on enhanced Arctic multilateral governance. What has been also coming from the following joint communications is especially the increased European Union support for the research, especially the climate research. And I think this Arctic Circle meeting has been a demonstration also of the European Union strong commitment on the research field what we have. I think, I don't know whether you paid attention, but in the morning session when we all were here, we had excellent presentation concerning the carp fix. And if you see the small flag on the right corner of there, that project also exists because of the European Union financing and European Union commitment in there. I sincerely hope that we would be able to multiply these projects also for the benefit of the European Union member states and not just here in Iceland. But the EU commitment also through the research is there. And also in 2016, when High Representative Madame Mogherini presented the European Union global strategy, that also addressed the challenges of the Arctic. And I think it's interesting to notice, especially from 2016 today, what kind of changes has happened in a 3 years' time and what kind of changes can be anticipated. In this global strategy, the special focus was on remaining and trying to maintain the Arctic as remaining a low-tension area with ongoing cooperation ensured by the Arctic Council. But when you look what happened in these 3 years' time, especially the focus has been going on the geopolitical challenges and geo-economical challenges. And when we were preparing a note for the President Juncker, which I will introduce you a bit later, what was interesting to observe that new Arctic strategies were coming especially from the non-Arctic countries. This summer, Germany just published their own paper. Poland is just on the process of publishing its paper, hopefully, even still this year. We have a new paper just came from Scotland. We have paper under preparation in Sweden. We have paper on preparation in Finland. We have paper on preparation in Denmark. So we have a lot of interest looking again what is happening in Arctic and what kind of challenges will be there. And I think, as also said, and I fully agree with the Senator what he said, what was missing and what has been missing for the European Union is the focus on the geostrategical situation and the changes on the setup what we have in generally speaking in the Arctic. President Juncker has given a strong commitment for the Arctic, and he has wanted to demonstrate his commitment for that. And one of the work that has been published was this Walking on Thin Ice. This is a paper which was published in July this year. It's available in this EU stand in the corner of this same level. If you want to have, if they're all gone, you can find it also on the web pages that we have. This paper, I think today, when we are formally 2 weeks away from the changing of the Commission, I think it's fair to say that this paper is part of the President Juncker's legacy for the new Commission President. It is meant to be food for the thought for the new Commission. It's meant to be hopefully also the guidance and guidelines how the new Commission should and could react to the Arctic challenges. And what we are suggesting in this paper is that we need to put a balance, the difficult balance between the environment protection and sustainable development of the region and exploitation of the natural resources, what we have in there. What we also need to have and achieve is mainstreaming the Arctic policy on all the policies of the European Union. And I think this is extremely important, what has to be done. We also need to have a framework. We have to be able to provide certain rules, engagement rules of the game that is important to have in there. And we should also, of course, actively participate with local communities, include indigenous population and people, and decision-making on the matters that generally concern them. And I think this message is loud and clear from this Arctic Circle meeting, which I will be also, and Marianne will be carrying with us to the Brussels and the meetings there. And which is maybe interesting to maybe small news also. What we are suggesting also is that the European Union should open program offices or contact points in the Greenland and Faroe Islands, giving opportunities for the people in there having more information and more opportunities to find out what the European Union can provide for the benefit and for the interest what they have. And all of this should be combined in the new Arctic strategy. And if I have one specific wish or dream and what I can convey to the Madame von der Leyen when she's starting her new commission and when the commission starts its activities, the one single request from my side would be that in the Commission Work Programme 2020, there would be one line which says the Commission initiates and starts the preparation of the new joint communications, with purpose is to have a long-term strategy, comprehensive strategy for the European Union for the Arctic. Because I think this is exactly what we need today and what we have to do. And as Senator said in his speech, the question is about the time. We should start working now and not wait for the next year or year behind that, because the changes, the challenges that we are facing are not waiting for us, but we need to address. And the European Union needs to have its own strategy, its own narrative, and its own future plans for the Arctic, also for this Commission and for the decades ahead of us. Thank you much.